If you're African, you may soon be banned from coming to the US. The Trump administration is considering travel restrictions on 22 African nations.
The Trump administration is reportedly considering another travel ban, floating restrictions on 43 countries and an all-out ban on 11 more.
This is how it breaks down. Somalia, Sudan, and Libya, total travel ban for everyone. Sierra Leone, South Sudan, and Eritrea, severe visa restrictions. And 17 other African countries will have 60 days to address concerns, or they could also face the same fate. Those countries are Angola, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Cabo Verde, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Brazzaville, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kinshasa, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Liberia, Malawi, Mali, Mauritania, Sao Tome and Principe, and Zimbabwe.
You're telling me that African minerals have more privileges than an African passport? If you haven't been paying attention, the US visa waiver program list for 2025 dropped. And guess how many African countries made the cut? Now I want to point out, European countries are obviously dominating the list. There's a handful of Asian countries too. Shout out to Qatar for making the list last year, even though I thought the US had some political beef between them. If you know what I mean? Basically, people from those countries on the list can travel to the US for tourism, business, you name it, and skip all that embassy headache, rejection letter stress, and vice versa. Okay, Americans can enjoy the same privileges. But out of 54 African nations, guess how many of us made the list? 0. Literally. The second largest continent in the world. The one that they keep on calling the future. From African countries that say everything is based off of economy, like Egypt, Morocco, South Africa, Nigeria, right? Greece is on the list, and I think you guys have a bigger economy. This is my favorite. Where are my African countries that say we are the hub center for diplomatic relations and UN organizations? Kenya, one of them. Ethiopia is another one. I'm just saying, you're telling me African minerals have more privileges than African can't? You're telling me you want African gold but not guests? You're telling me you accept African diamonds but not boarding passes? I can do this all day. But to be honest, I wasn't shocked when the orange president didn't know where Lesotho was. I mean, he never visited Africa in any official capacity. But you're telling me they know where San Marino is? Isn't that a cocktail drink? Anyways, let's stop pretending that this is all risk-based assessment and that's the reason why, and call it for what it is. I just hope African leaders can really stop treating the continent like it's open.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Ndagere here. Thanks for clicking on this kind of interesting, shocking video that is something that pissed me off, or actually pisses a lot of us as Africans off. And sometimes, like I say, you don't even have to blame the Western governments for doing this, because they know we are not capable of somehow fighting for ourselves. Because tell me why, as African people, as the African continent, we are an open book, I would call it. We are an open house that everybody else feels free to just get a ticket from the Western countries and access. Tell me why we are the open house that just lets everybody from the Western countries just come and live peacefully, come peacefully without any hurdles. When you see these things, you look at your governments and you're like, wait a minute. These people know what they are doing, and they are doing it deliberately, because you cannot tell me that the US is able to put sanctions on African nations and literally deny us access to their countries. But when it comes to their people coming in Africa, it's okay with our governments. They don't have any issues, and they're just like, oh yeah, they are coming in to bring in money to, boosting the economy. I do not deny the boosting of economy or, sharing knowledge and all those things. But when it has to be on the expense of African people, that's when, the blame has to actually stop being on the Western side and be on the African side. Because this man, Trump, to put all these laws out and kicking African people out of his country, he knows we can't do anything about it. I mean, how? We have leaders that are put on buses to go into the Western countries. We have leaders that are not capable of building hospitals, changing the education system, to teach African children about their true history, to be patriotic for their countries, to really learn to love their countries. We have these leaders that would do anything to put their interest first, other than the people that they claim to want to rule or claim that they care about. These leaders that are willing to sell off our resources every single freaking day for the expense of fit of their people. How are we going to be respected? How are we going to be given a seat on tables that we deserve to be sat on if we still have these leaders in Africa that are letting this hypocrisy, this discrimination, this racism continue to be put on African people, But I digress, guys. Listen to more of this and let me know what you think about it, because it's wild.
A draft proposal of Trump's new travel ban has been released, and it includes a list of 43 countries where citizens from these countries could face severe restrictions from entering the United States or a complete ban altogether. Now, this is a draft proposal, and the New York Times reported that the proposal is from several weeks ago. So it's absolutely subject to change, and it's not the final list. But the list behind me is the one that they're strongly considering for purposes of the new travel ban. Now, the draft proposal suggests a red list, which includes countries where its citizens would have a complete ban of entry into the United States. Now, the 11 countries on that red list are Afghanistan, Bhutan, Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. And again, people from the countries on the red list would have a total ban of being able to enter the US. The draft proposal also suggests an orange list of countries, and citizens from these countries would not have a total ban of entering the US, but there would be severe visa restrictions. For example, affluent business travelers might be able to enter the US, but individuals who are seeking immigrant visas or tourist visas may not be allowed. There's also going to be a mandatory interview requirement for all visa cases for citizens from these countries. The list of countries are Pakistan, Russia, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, Turkmenistan, as well as Belarus, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, and Myanmar. There's also a yellow list which includes 22 additional countries. The Trump administration intends to give these countries 60 days to clear up deficiencies in their information sharing as far as their citizens are concerned. The list of these countries are listed below, but you can see Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cambodia, and many others are on this list. Now, if the countries listed below do not clear up the perceived deficiencies that the Trump administration has pointed out, then their lack of compliance could result in them being placed on the other two lists. Now, it's unclear if the travel ban is going to apply to green card holders who are still citizens of these other countries but have lawful permanent residency in the US. So because it is unclear at this time, many are advising that green card holders do not travel outside of the United States or that they return from abroad before the implementation of the travel ban. Now, we've seen this before. Bans can be blocked or changed, and they can move pretty fast overnight. That's why it's really important to stay informed and follow us for more immigration news and information.
And guys, this is a thing that actually got to me, right? The countries that were mostly considered to be not acceptable at all in the African continent were Libya, Eritrea, Sudan. Did they also put Burkina Faso? Yeah. Zimbabwe. Guys, these countries are the African countries that were ruled by African leaders that were doing better for African people, for their people, especially when it comes to Libya. So the thing is, as America, as the Western governments, they were able to come and destabilize and literally take down the leaders, take the lives away of the leaders that were doing better for African people, come in and destabilize these people in their countries by claiming to come in and help them with democracy, but coming in and literally shaping it to hell. And now they have the audacity to put those countries in a notice you guys are not acceptable to come into our country because you're not worth it. You could the hypocrisy of Western governments really gets to you. They did not give peace. They are still not giving peace to African nations. I mean, when it comes to resources, yes, they are here to work it out. They are here to do transactions. They are here to have meetings. They are here to really do the most. They are good when it comes to benefiting them always. But then now that these countries that they invaded, especially in the African continent, the people are looking for all ways to go and look for greener pastures in their countries of the West. They're like, no, you're not supposed to come into our countries because you're not worth it. But we are allowed as the Western governments to come and invade your nations. Because guys, even the war that is happening in Sudan today, South Sudan or Sudan, guys, this is a war that is sponsored by the Western American governments. Why are we acting dumb on that? So, oh no, they do not want to see the people they destabilize in their countries, but they want their people to be able to come in these countries and, make videos and, talk about it and, come and do adventures and all that. And that's why I'm so keen when I say at this point in time, this blame should actually now be put on African nations, because there is no way we are going to be in a world where our minerals in the ground of our continent are more important than the freedom of the people that are living on those lands, on this planet, on this continent, if that makes sense. Like, as black people, guys, this really frustrates you, okay? That everywhere else we are not considered. I mean, a continent that is full of African people being put in a place where we now have to be in trouble, in like fear of even leaving our continent to go to other places to even see things, is insane. The amount of money African people have to put in to go to the Western countries, the questions, the documents, like everything they ask is crazily ridiculous. But no, it's allowed. But when it comes to the Western people coming in Africa, like I said, it's an open house. It's a free will. And even just putting, let's say, $30 is nothing for a person from the Western countries to be stressed about. Like, guys, they don't even have to show a lot of documents or like bank statements or whatsoever. Because, I mean, why? They are from the Western countries, like they have money. And I always share videos on how we have a lot of illegal, palmed people in Africa. But that is also overlooked. Our governments don't care. They don't care. Like I always tell you guys, it's less of a threat, or it's less of a scenario to see like an African police person stop down a palmed person to ask them for documents or if they are legal. But now we see what's happening to our people in the US. Like, they are stopping every goddamn person that is not white to ask them, are you allowed to be here? Even before this situation of Trump, it has always been happening. Why can't Africa have the same energy? Why? And quite frankly, if this is not an eye-opening situation to African leaders to see how we are seen and treated globally, then they have mental issues. I mean, if a group of people were able to, like in history, sit in a Berlin conference and, separate a continent to their benefit and do whatever they wanted, and we are still keeping it today, if they were able to come in and give us their education that we are still, keeping today, if they were able to come and change our cultures and languages and, demonize us, and we are still keeping it today, if they were able to do that and are still getting away with it, tell me how they would start to respect you at any point. So when African leaders think that these people do these things because they kind of exclude them, is insane. The way they are able to sit in their conferences like now with this list to put African nations in a list, like, you guys, you are not worth coming in our countries. What makes these African leaders think that they are seen as special in any way? What makes them think that they are somehow seen as special in the eyes of these Western governments? Make it make sense. So when I say the Western people know they can get away with this disrespect, they know they can, because we have leaders in this continent that are selfish, greedy, and so self-centered that they choose themselves over the interest. Actually, they choose the interest of our colonizers, literally, than the interest of them and their people. That's not how we are going to get freedom in this continent. It's not going to happen this way. Like, this really pisses me off, and it shows the level of disrespect and how we are seen as a group of people in the eyes of Western people, Western governments. It's insane. It's insane. They are able to invade our countries and do the most, but we are still allowing them to come in as they please. No questions, no nothing. I mean, why? Because, they are who they are. They are still our masters. What can I say? That's crazy. But, I mean, all I can do is talk about it and just put this information out. Guys, let me know your thoughts on it. Like, this is really insane. that is still happening in 2024. Like, we are still not seen as worthy, as worth, as Black African people. It's insane. It's freaking insane, guys. That is it for me in the video. Let me know what you think about this. I can't add on this. I really can't. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Yeah, I'm always posting, guys. I'll see you or hear from you in another video. Bye.